Well, hello. This is As Real as They Come, Dallas. My name is Yulia.
Walt Mills.
Walt Mills. So, as I have promised, I'm bringing the man that's behind all this magic here in front of the camera so you guys get to finally meet him. So, Walt, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been doing photography since we moved to Dallas in 93. We actually moved in Christmas of 92, so 93 was my first full year here. I told people that I was a Texan. It just took me a while to get here. And we, a couple of years after we moved here, somebody wanted a wedding shot. Like, ooh, that's somebody's memories. I don't want to do that. And I photographed it, and it turned out really well.
Wow.
And someone took that group of pictures to work. Work happened to be JCPenney's. And all of a sudden, I'm getting calls from JCPenney's to do photographs. And we were doing 10 to 12 photographs for JCPenney's in our second year in business.
Wow.
And so we did photos or weddings until roughly 2004, 5, 6. We were really popular. We were doing 20 to 30 weddings a year.
That's a lot of weddings.
It was. Plus holding down 2 full-time jobs with my wife. And so in 2007, everybody got a camera for Christmas. And everybody was a wedding photographer. So I said, you know what? I need something else. I became a commercial photographer, and people asked me what that is, and someone defined it really well for me. They said, I'm a MasterCard photographer. If you have MasterCard, I'll take your picture.
I love that.
And it seems to work. I do headshots. I contract out for a couple of branches of banks that when they have a new employee, I do their headshots for the bank. I also do commercial events, weddings, still of course, bar mitzvahs, corporate events, fundraisers, things like that. And I just have a lot of fun with the photography side.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say that people get cameras, but it's like real estate. You got license, it doesn't make you a realtor.
Exactly.
You got a camera, it doesn't mean that you can take good pictures.
Exactly.
You can see people that naturally talented, or sometimes you have to take some classes,
right.
And even then, you have to have that side in you.
And the problem with the wedding industry is that everybody who had a camera said they were a wedding photographer. And the brides weren't educated on what's good and what's bad, so they started hiring people that just had a camera and never photographed a wedding.
The price talked.
The price talked. I'm charging $4,000 for a wedding, and they're charging $400 for a wedding.
Yeah.
And I do, I'll arrive several hours beforehand. I'll stay several hours afterwards. I go home, do all the editing. I do everything, put everything together, and then I'll go home and work several hours on the proofs, get everything ready, spend time retouching several photos. I lightly touch everything. I then make a website from that. They can go to the website, and the nice thing is people can see the event. If they weren't there, they can send it to family and friends. And of course, family from out of town can certainly order from it, or let the bride know what they want. And and it's a lot of work, and I can't make a profit at $400 because I'm giving them much more. And then there are things that at a wedding, I don't want to jump off into weddings, but things that happen at a wedding that only a wedding photographer would see. The first kiss. If you don't get the first kiss, they're going to go, the pictures with mom and the bride, and all those different things that they're very important.
There are so many elements to a wedding. I can't even begin. That's why, like you said, it's a huge responsibility.
Oh, it really is.
Huge responsibility.
And when I first started, I was like, really sweating and worrying about everything. And now I've got a wedding coming up on Friday, and not even worried about it. I'll, middle of the afternoon, I'll probably put all my equipment together. I make sure everything's charged and cases are together. But it's a much easier thing now than it was when I first started. I would sweaty palms for 3 or 4 days.
You got it a lot more orchestrated.
Absolutely,
now.
Absolutely.
And I think if you work with the wedding planner closely, they will keep you in the loop on what's next, so you can plan your moves and the angles. And again, it comes in from creativity. There is a taken picture, and then there is taken almost a piece of art of a picture that you can treasure, frame it, put it on your wall, and cherish for many years to come.
Exactly. And we do a Renaissance kind of wedding, almost an English garden, where it's posed beautiful. But not posed. Hold her hand, give her a little kiss on the cheek, and those are the kind of shots that
so
we get.
Beautiful. Renaissance.
Oh,
that's one of my favorite eras.
We have so much fun. It's just you can't go wrong.
Literature back then was phenomenal too.
Yes. So I did that, and at the same time, as I mentioned, I had a full-time job, but I worked for Siemens Corporation in their communication division. They do various phone systems for a lot of different large organizations, and I was in corporate. I ran the division that did all of the writing and all of the documentation for a while. I was in product management for a while, and then we moved to Texas. I became product support, and then part of the web, designed a lot of web stuff, and worked on some big corporate things. Traveled all over the world. And,
nice.
And it was fun.
Sounds like a dream job.
It was. No, the photography's a dream job.
You don't get to travel as much, but it's still a lot of fun.
Exactly.
You get to create your own masterpiece.
Yes.
So your love for photography brought you to your next venture.
Absolutely.
What is that one?
I was called by a lady in my neighborhood who I love and know, Samina McGull, and she said she needed someone to photograph a fashion show that she was putting on. And Samina's a designer, and she has shown her stuff all over the world, and chose me to come out and be the photographer. So I did that and photographed the event, and then she asked me to be her lead photographer to coordinate all of the photographers when she puts on events. And on the second event that she had, I met a guy named Randy Newby.
It's SM Global Catwalk 4th Annual Dallas Catwalk Gala.
And Randy had a granddaughter. Her name is Marissa. She's a model, and she walked in the runway, and I, of course, photographed her. And what Randy and I were talking about, Randy said, one of the problems is we do these runways, and then nothing happens. Nobody's doing anything. They're sitting around. So he said, I've been promoting a couple of models to get them some jobs and moving them around and getting them busy during the off season. And I said, that sounds like a good job. And so we photographed a model and took care of her, and she got a job at a large modeling agency. Randy and I looked at each other. We said, we can do that. And so we formed an agency called GLADmodels, and that was 3 years ago. And in this year, 2020, we with LLC, so we made it official. And we have at this point 62 female models, 8 male models, and 4 sub-teens kids models. And we actually just picked up 2 new models in the last 2 days, and we're interviewing 2 more.
Very nice.
It seems COVID has helped us because everyone is there. I don't know if they're bored or if they're looking to earn money. We tell people in our agency, you're not going to earn money, especially now that there's COVID. You're going to work. You're going to become popular. At some point, if you're popular enough, somebody will want to pay you to do a job. And so you got to do a lot of free stuff, like anything else.
Yeah.
And even the big models that walk in New York, the famous models, they pay their own way to get there. They pay the hotel.
Oh.
I mean, the modeling industry doesn't pay a lot.
It sounds very sexy, if you would. Oh, I'm a model, which...
And she is. She's one of our models.
One of your models. Am I 62 or 63? It's like,
oh, you're in your teens.
And it really is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, not just on your outside, but also within inside, because you get so many no's before you get that one yes.
Yes.
And those ladies are very strong.
Oh, they are.
I like the culture in GLADmodels because everybody's mega supportive.
We're like a family.
It is. It's like whenever we get together, it's always very sweet, inviting. Everybody's supportive, always positive, and that's very, very rare, especially in the fashion industry.
Yes, it is. And we have we have a no drama agency. And if we interview someone and we suspect there's a little bit of drama, we may not make that offer because we really, we have a lot of younger models in the agency, and we go from all the way down to 10 years old all the way up to 67, and all of those models have done something at some point. They've either cataloged models, or they've walked runways, or they're on websites and various things. So,
and even since beginning of modeling, we're not going into Renaissance era when you had to get your photo painted, but from modern fashion modeling to what we have nowadays, it did transform a lot.
Yes.
It did transform where you're not beautiful just because you got photoshopped the heck out of you, but because you discovered that beauty within you and you know how to present it
Yes.
to other people.
Yes.
It's not just the photographer that needs to know your angles, but also you.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, if you have that energy, I'm a true believer that if you're beautiful inside and out,
Yes.
I see
Yes.
so many ladies that by social means may not be accepted as a model per se, but then she did do a big magazine. One of my favorites is Lisa.
Yes.
I love her to
Yes.
death.
That picture will be right here.
She is absolutely beautiful,
Yes.
and her eyes, they
Yes.
can tell the story
Yes.
just looking at that.
Yes.
And I absolutely love that.
Yes, and we have a number of larger models that I mean, there's everything in the world out there, and of course, if you're 5'8" and above and a size 0, definitely going to be a runway model. But you can do other things, and if you're not 5'7", we've got some 5'1", 5'2" models, and they're great for what we call lifestyle. So those are one of our models is on the ranch. She's one of the ones drinking the drinks in their website, and we've had other models that are in many magazines, and there's nothing greater for a mom than to have their daughter in a magazine. And
It is great, and it's also very inspiring for ladies that are there, or young men that choose to be in modeling business, because it builds your confidence.
Yes.
You're like, oh wait, I'm right here, but not in an unhealthy way where, oh my God, I need to push myself to be somebody I'm not, and get into those little parameters that people expect you to be. You're just more exposing who you are
Yes.
more than anything
Yes.
else.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
And the greatest compliment I get is one of the things that we do when you first join GLADmodels, we do an agency shoot. So it is akin to what you might do if you were going to be on the cover of Vogue magazine. It's a fast pace, 4 different outfits, a lot of different background changes and so forth. And the idea, of course, is to get you used to this and see how you're going to react, and to sort of break you in so you know what to expect if you go to another photographer who's more demanding. I'm pretty easygoing. Some photographers are not. They're more demanding, and we have to prepare the models for that. And so what we discover is once we do that, they finish and they come back and they go, that was great, because they feel like, and they are a star. And immediately they go, well, here's what I want to do on the next shoot. I want to do this, this, and this. And so we try to be not the only photographer for all the models, because there are a lot of great photographers out there, and everybody has a different look. I have a style, other folks have a style.
Yeah.
And you want to make the model happy and very at ease, and not worried about. And it's a sort of thing where I let the model drive me. When she's ready to pose and I push the button, she knows there's a flash and she knows when to move forward.
Very nice.
And something we've just added, we've hired a person to teach model posing. So we have Cadence Love, who is our model posing person. We'll be advertising some things about that on posing. And she's really good. I mean, she even taught me a few things. I'm like, oh, that was kind of cool. And so we're going to offer that to the models. And of course, we have been in the past offering a thing called Step It Up, which is runway, makeup, and various things. Right now, it's kind of on hiatus because of this COVID thing. We can't say this word, but
It's going to be a new cuss word of 2020.
yes, it is. And
COVID with you.
my wife won't let me use the words "the new normal" at all. So this is just the normal. So.
Yeah, my husband is so funny when he plays golf with his buddies. There's a new golf term. It's called COVID. So whenever you hit on the green and you hit your ball and you're trying to putt and it misses the hole, they're like, COVID. So I'm telling you, the new cuss word of 2020.
Well, it sure is. It is. And it's, one of the things is, as we mentioned to our models now, that people aren't shooting. They're worried about the COVID. They should be. I mean, you shouldn't go into a studio where everybody is there and you've got 20 people and you've got an entourage and you're inside. I mean, like for this, we're outside. That's one of the reasons we don't have masks on, and we're further apart than we normally
Thank you,
would
Turkish Cafe and Lounge, for
Absolutely.
giving us this amazing opportunity to shoot on the fresh air in such a beautiful Texas weather. It's a gorgeous day.
Absolutely, and it's if you go into someplace and they're not observing that, then you should pick up the phone, call your agency, and let us know, and we'll make something happen. And then never do anything that you're uncomfortable with, especially if it comes to your safety and health. So
yeah, it's definitely a safe agency. I will put it like that.
Thank you.
Very pleasant, and lots of classes. I've attended some. Yes. We laugh so much.
Oh, yes. And it was an interesting thing because we just happened to have someone in there that was a realtor, someone else who, as yourself, did mortgage, and there were so many different connections that were made in
Marcy.
there.
Marcy is a beautiful realtor.
She is, yes. And
in the DFW.
and she's done a lot of posing lately, too. She's been very busy. And so it was a good connection. Not only was it a learning experience, but it was also a good connection.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm definitely enjoying that. So where do you see your agents in the next couple of years?
Wow, I'll attribute your wine coming
there you
in.
are.
Incoming wine. So it's interesting. About a little over maybe a year ago, we had our first event. You were there, and we had Isaac Birdlong, who came in and made a speech. And we had all of our models and all potential models, and it was kind of a kickoff. And Isaac said that what's happening is that it's becoming very expensive to do this in New York, very expensive to do this on the coast. And so everything is moving toward Dallas because we have the venues, we have the land, the expenses are not as high as the other two. We certainly have the models. And so he said that this is going to be the next model area.
We have so many beautiful women here of different backgrounds, different cultures. I mean, Texas is the place to be.
It is. And then he said, and I wish I had my camera recording this part, he said, GLADmodels Agency is probably the best place you can be to head into the future. And I was very flattered, and so I think we have a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
We try to be real. Our classes are under $100. They're not mandatory. Our bookings are not mandatory. And then, of course, income varies depending on what you're doing or where you are. And we just have a lot of fun.
That's important. You have to have fun what you do.
Yes.
Otherwise, don't do it.
Yes, exactly.
If it's not making you smile, if it doesn't because you cannot smile, you're not going to make other people smile.
No.
If you're miserable, other people will feel your misery and they're like, why are you doing this?
And I won't photograph a model if she's not feeling it. She's had a bad day, and we work on that. And before the shoot, there's a model call sheet and some information that they have. And if they're not feeling it, I don't want to photograph them because it's not going to be good for them. I'm not going to have a good time. They're not going to like their pictures, and so I would rather postpone than force you to do a photo shoot.
Well, we should do an episode or something our viewers can look forward to when you do a photo shoot.
Yes.
Maybe we can do something in Arboretum.
Sure.
Shoot models and do episode there.
Yes, we can do that.
And do something where people can actually see our models, meet them, and maybe have a little question one by one and meet our ladies and gentlemen.
And we're also going to organize a shoot. There's a lot of folks that organize shoots outside and around the area, and they'll do a 1 or 2 model shoot. We want to do a 3 or 4 model shoot, all GLAD models, and invite photographers in. We'll know ahead of time who's coming in, vet them a little bit, but so an evening shoot like 6 o'clock in a popular area, so something like that. So.
Beautiful. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
So, being at the Turkish Cafe and Lounge, I always feel almost obligated having my signature hookah. If you guys wonder, this is grape mint on ice, phenomenal stuff, and you have to have it with the red wine. Otherwise, it will not taste the same.
Do your red wine.
It would, but
do your red wine thing.
I love the red wine
with the smoke.
I absolutely love that. This is my form of meditation.
Yes.
I love to meditate, and this is one of them.
Oh, yes. Yes. Wow.
So, Walt, as GLAD modeling grows, I heard that you guys acquired a new studio, which I have not even had a chance to see yet.
Well, we partnered. We're in with a number of different photographers, but it's down near the Northeast Mall. It's called Covenant Studios.
Okay.
And there are two large studios, Studio A and Studio B. Very clever naming system. And the Studio A has a large fireplace living room kind of setup. It also has backdrops. There's a bedroom scene. There's a tub. There's a steel wall, there's a brick wall, so a lot of different ways to shoot. In Studio B, there's a 1950s kitchen, so we could do pin-up kind of shoots.
Nice.
There's, of course, backdrops, and there's some painted backdrops, and also a living room fireplace on that side. And so it's huge, it's very large, and we shoot there. We started doing that, of course, when the COVID thing happened. I have a studio in my house, which works just fine. It'll accommodate a couple of different people.
Oh yeah, you got a beautiful studio at your home.
And but the problem is when the entourage shows up, everybody's sitting in my living room, so I'm not sure who it is. I wouldn't mind you and Jason sitting there. It doesn't bother me, but I don't know who the rest of these people are. So this one has an open foyer for everyone. There's even a meeting table there. In addition to that, they close every Thursday, I think, evening, and do a complete cleaning, and then we sterilize. Every photographer sterilizes after the shoot, and everyone wears a mask. No more people than you need, so it's the model and one person, and so it's really it's a good setup. And,
wonderful.
Yeah, and it's great. In fact, I mentioned earlier that I do headshots for different banks and stuff. I've got a banker coming on Friday. I did a photo shoot Friday morning, and just before that, he's going to pop in for a quick headshot, and it's just a perfect location.
Headshots, in my opinion, are the hardest ones.
Oh.
They are for me because you can pose for other photo shoots, but with your headshot, it has to be the certain way.
Yes.
And I find those the hardest ones. Where do I put my hands? What do I look like? And that's when you need professionalism and guidance of your photographer, because those can be pretty rough.
They do. I tell people, if your headshot looks like this, you want to give me a call.
It's not a headshot.
It's not.
It's not a headshot.
And I do, on a headshot shoot, we charge $99, and we get 4 or 5 different looks. You can bring jackets without jackets and so forth. Then we produce all of that as a digital proof. You pick out the ones you want. We then do that perfect skin and great lighting and so forth. And you get digital copies. It's all done online, and you'll get a picture for Facebook, something for the web. You'll also get something for your business card. We label them and size them so that you're not confused on what to give to which vendor. And it's a great little business. My goal was to do 1 headshot a month. I typically do about 3 a week. So I have met and exceeded my goal.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's it. My motto with my headshot business is, we make you look like you think you should.
Absolutely. And you should look good.
Absolutely.
And also, what would be a good thing, especially if you're going to do a headshot at least once a year, because I know that, especially in real estate business, my husband is guilty as charged. I have some pictures that I've done a couple of years ago, but his are like X amount of years ago, and I'm like, I always pick on him about that, because your headshot really needs to be current.
It does. You don't want to walk into a real estate transaction and see somebody who's 72 with a 26-year-old picture. Because in one respect, you may want someone who's 72.
Well, and the fashion changes.
Yes, it does.
The perception changes.
Yes.
The way you present yourself changes. Yes. Your confidence level changes.
Yes.
And if you want to do at least once a year, I would suggest, personally, bring 4 seasons of outfits. Do yourself spring, summer, fall, winter. And that would help you to give a variety to your clients.
Sure. Yes.
And you can switch it up, and at least you will have photo shoot once a year, because busy people are busy.
They are.
They're occupied. Their schedules are filled up to the fullest, and I know it's not that easy sometimes to break away and get that headshot done. But sometimes you have to.
Yes.
It's just one of those to-do lists that's a must.
The neatest thing was this: the bank that sent this out sent out a list to the person, and they forwarded it to me, and I didn't realize it was the internal memo, but it said things that we'll need as you come on board. We'll need your bio, we'll need this, your location, your address, and please be sure to get with Walt Mills. He'll be doing your headshot. He's very accommodating and quite good at his trade. I'm like, whoa, right in their come on board material. So,
wonderful, because you want that as a professional company also.
Yes.
You want more uniform headshots, so when people look at the signature line, they're not looking at variety and wondering, okay, is this a real signature, is this a real company, or is it, because there is so much fraud.
Yes.
And I'm in the banking system, so I know there is so much fraud out there. There are so many fake emails out there, so you want to be as authentic as possible, as uniform as possible, so you don't leave that room for people to be confused, your clients confused. Am I sending paperwork? Because most of that is very sensitive material.
Yes.
So you definitely want professional uniform look across the board in your company.
Yes. And I interview my headshot victims. We call them victims. I interview them.
Sometimes I feel like one.
To find out, are you a standing? What does your business card look like? Because sometimes it's standing with that look like this, and sometimes it's just a headshot. Sometimes it's that turned look. And I want to be able to match you in with the company, just as you said. You want consistency.
I'm the hardest one with this one. I don't even know where to start sometimes with those things.
I'll put my headshot up. My wife took my headshot. I posed myself, and she's like, "Are you sure?" Like, push the button. Push the button.
Your wife is adorable. She's your right hand, pretty much.
She is.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And our viewers, you got to meet our fabulous Walt Mills with Photography by Walt.
And I'm usually on the other side of that camera. So.
He is, but this is about time when we actually get to meet him and ask a couple of questions. And if you guys have more questions and you want to learn more about Glad Modeling or Photography by Walt, please feel free. By all means, reach out and we'll definitely answer all of your questions.
Absolutely. Thank you. I was in a conference call the other day and I said, I really want to say like and subscribe, but but it was a conference call, so you really couldn't do that. So if you're out there, like and subscribe, because we need a few more subscribers and we can rename our channel to our real name.
Thank you so much. Much love.
Thanks, guys.